Welcome to the Silent Thinking Podcast, a place to slow down, breathe, and reconnect. Today, I'm reading from Walking the Path, A Leader's Journey by Dr. Keith McNally. Just listen and let the stillness support you. The story continues. In the morning, with the light of the day around him, John could read more of the journal. Now that he was on the trail, making the same journey as Jose's great-grandfather, he felt like he was living Juan's story. Early on, I blamed myself for a lot of things in my life. I could easily list a dozen things or so that I did wrong in my life. Were these the reasons why my life had turned into such a mess? Could I blame current problems on the past mistakes? I don't know the complete answer to my questions. At least, I did not know then just how I should perceive my own life. Towards the end, before I set out, I believed that I was the cause of all the problems that me and my family were having. Of course, looking back, I realized that this type of thinking was wrong. It's easy to fall into a pattern of self-blame when things don't turn out the way you think they should have. However, I found that the minds of the people were not equipped to think any other way. That is, the people in the valley. They only seem to have a narrow perspective on life. They only think of what is going on in the valley. They only perceive life as being lived in the valley. And I know I was part of this thinking. It was totally my thinking. And I know, and there was no reason to think differently, except when I was outcasted. I needed to find a new safe place to live. And that included creating a safe place to think, breathe, and exist. I needed to find it, although all of this was extremely motivated. Even though I'm grateful, but I think why? Why was I chosen to think differently? Why was I chosen to be called out? When John heard the others step out of their tents, he carefully hid the journal back in his backpack. Then he joined the girls outside. They decided it was safe enough to start a fire, make some tea, and have breakfast. Their legs were a bit sore from the first stage of the journey. They would need the physical and emotional strength for today's leg. As John, Liz, and Penny sat around the campfire, they began to talk about the situation. I'm actually a little surprised no one came looking for us, Penny said solemnly. They may have, Liz added. True, John said. As long as neither of you told another soul about our adventure, we should be fine. There's too much fear and suspicion about these mountains to have people from the village wandering through them. And to be honest, I don't think my parents thought twice about it. They're probably thinking I got mad at them for not wanting to do something special for my 18th birthday. And I ran off sulking. They're going to sit back and expect me to show up today or tomorrow. Mom may be a little concerned, but my dad won't be. Well, Penny said, my mom probably started worrying last night when she came home from work and found the house empty. It's just Mom, me, Liz, and Benji at home. One way or another, John added, people are going to think something's wrong soon enough. But it will be too late. John paused. But what I'm really curious about is, how did Liz really convince you to come along? She did come recruiting for me now that I think about it. With us heading into the unknown, it's probably a good idea to have a team than to do this alone. Liz smiled happily. Well, Penny said, we're pretty close. We're more like sisters than cousins. Every time you kept bringing up the idea of leaving, she would come to me, almost in tears. She likes you more than you realize, John. I'm beginning to understand that, John said shamefully. I'm very grateful that she does. Now that we're actually doing this, it's good to know I have people around me that I can trust. John took a breath. Still, crossing over the mountains may be more dangerous than we realize. How can I put this? Penny asked. I trust Liz, and Liz trusts you. I may not be a hunter, but I can help. And Liz and I have a strong bond. I couldn't watch her just walk away. So when she told me that you were planning to go, this time for real, and she planned to go with you, I told her that I wanted to come along as well. I'm not going to be a third wheel. I'm here to help us all get over the mountain in one piece. Thank you, John said and smiled. So Penny continued, if you were to do this over again, would you recruit other people for this adventure? No, John said definitively. At least not from the valley. Where else would you find people? Liz asked. That's not what I meant, John clarified. I just wouldn't want anyone from the valley. What about your friends? Penny asked. Think of it this way, John said. Remember what it felt like when you were younger and the other kids saw your hand? John saw that Penny became uncomfortable, even angry. Hear me out. It's the same thing. When I was younger, my friends would get together to play ball or something, right? So we had to pick teams. Well, that means 2 teams and 2 captains, right? Who gets to be captains? Usually the most popular kids, Liz added. Right, the most popular. Does that mean they are the best at being captain of the team? No. But because they are popular, everyone else assumes they should be captain. And if anyone else wanted to be captain, they would be ignored. So, Penny said, well, John said, I was never the most popular. So I never got to be captain. I was average in most things. Except hunting and fishing, Liz added. True, John said with a smile. But those things are not team activities. When it came to team activities, I was average. I was never the first one picked for a team, and I wasn't the last. I was always third or fourth picked, all the time. John paused. So you weren't the most athletic kid in the group, Penny said. But I was, John said. I said I was average, but so everyone else. No one excelled at anything, meaning I was just like everyone else. Teams were picked based on popularity with the captains, not on skill or anything important. I know what you mean, Liz said. Right, John said. Who you are doesn't matter. What you bring to the team does not matter. So no, I would not want any of the kids from the valley to help me, but there are people that work on the farm that I would consider. That's interesting, Penny said. Who? Well, John said, Jose. I would pick Jose for starters. Of course you would, Liz asked. He's your best friend. In fact, why isn't he here with us now? He said he was too old to make the trip. John said solemnly, but I wish he was here. I would feel better. Why? Penny asked. First, John said, I trust him. We've had some heart-to-heart talks about family and such. And as far as I know, nothing ever got back to Dad. At least Dad never said anything to me. So I'm sure Jose never said anything. And he's smart. He's a planner. If I were to say, Jose, I need your help planning an expedition, he would come back to me. with a bunch of questions. That's why I would choose him. Plus, he has no tight family here in the area, so I would think he would risk the trip over the mountains. Who else? Penny asked. Well, there's Marlene, John added. Marlene, Liz said. She's like 90 years old. Yeah, John said. But she can cook. If we could get her across to the other side, we could set up a store. She bakes the best pies. That's if there are people on the other side, Penny said. I know, John said. But if not, she can still cook. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. If this brought you please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and share with someone who might need a little stillness today. Until next time, keep listening inward.